This week, a big milestone for the Detroit Police Department. It is no longer under federal control. It's a journey that's taken 11 years, cost millions of dollars, and seen more than a few scandals. But on Monday, a federal judge agreed to drop the use of a court-appointed federal monitor. But can the department keep moving in the right direction? You know, Ingrid, this is happening while this national conversation around the militarization of the police departments nationwide, use of excessive force. This is in light of what happened recently in Ferguson, Missouri. What do you think this says to Detroiters about the police department?
Well, I think it should signal some additional confidence that things are going in a much better direction now at the DPD. I think Police Chief James Craig should take a lot of credit for his leadership in trying to turn things around in the department. And like you mentioned, with obviously all eyes of the country have been on Ferguson in recent days. And I think while these are still issues in Detroit, there has been a significant drop in incidents where police fatally shoot suspects. I think the number dropped to, was it 18 deaths the last 5 years versus almost 50 in the previous 5 years. You know, that's progress.
Yeah. You know, Stephen, the DOJ says, you know, we're releasing the federal oversight, but there are still some issues. We haven't really answered this issue of excessive force and trying to get cameras installed in police vehicles to make sure that there is this record of what's happening during stops. How important is that last piece to fix very quickly?
Well, I think you absolutely have to do that. I mean, people's confidence in the police department is, I think, I don't know that there's any statistical measure of this, but just based on what I hear from people, is at a real critical point. I mean, in a critical low. People don't, we're supposed to count on the police to keep us safe. I think a lot of people think we need someone to keep us safe from the police, and that's not the way it's supposed to be, and that was absolutely what was going on in Detroit for a long time. And so there's still work to do, better monitoring of officer-involved shootings. The oversight for that, the record keeping for that is really slipshod. Nationally. Yeah. It's not just a DPD problem. And these cameras in cars, also they have cameras now that can be on-body cameras, so you can see what officers actually do. I think all of that stuff leads to a transparency that's really important to restoring that faith that they're here to serve and protect, and that we don't need protection from them.
Well, and it seems like that's a really important message to send to Detroiters, to people who may be considering either starting businesses in Detroit or moving to Detroit, that this isn't just about the transformation through bankruptcy. This is really about transforming a city and supporting the residents who are already there, but also in telling people this is a good place to live, it's a safe place to live. And how do they send that message? How do you get that message out? Is it just about announcing the federal oversight, or do other steps need to be taken? Ingrid?
I think it's definitely a good sign. Get that news out there that the department no longer needs that federal oversight. I think that should help gain back some confidence that's been lost over the last decade or more. So, but I think it's a positive direction.
Stephen, you get the last word on this.
You have to do more. I mean, we have made a lot of progress in Detroit, and the numbers reflect that. But I think the relationship with the community is still frayed very badly, and you've got to restore that confidence. Some of it is about bringing crime down. Some of it is about being more transparent and more inclusive of communities in the way that they're policed.
Well, I want to thank you both for being here this evening. That's all the time we have for MiWeek. You'll also find us on Facebook and Twitter, and check out MiWeek.org for the shows you may have missed. For all of us here at Detroit Public TV, I'm Jen White. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend and join us next week.